See the news coming out right now. Kind of cool news here. I knew this was going to happen. TMZ says that NBC had the Access Hollywood tape for months and only released it to damage to Trump before the debate. So they timed it. They actually had all this stuff and they're releasing it.
Oh my goodness.
Shocker. Yeah, exactly, right? Oh, we got a phone call coming in. Where is it? Do you hear it, Rob? I think that's it right there. Hey, hello out there.
Hello?
Hey. Let me turn on the music. Yes.
Is this John?
This is John. This is John and Tight Stops.
Rob.
Rob.
Are you Rockstar?
Who is this?
Sitting right next to you.
Is that you? That's great. That's fucking great.
I'm sorry, man. Nobody's calling in. Sean, just call.
That was awesome. That was just awesome. Oh man, that's just awesome. Because I almost kicked the thing out. Oh, that's too funny.
I'm sorry.
No, that's great.
Somebody, that's not me, I swear.
I'm not picking it up.
It's not me. Pick it up.
All right, talk to him.
Hello.
Hey,
Who's this?
this is Sean.
Sean, what's up, buddy?
What's up, Sean?
What's going on, fellas?
Where you calling from?
Galloway.
Oh, you're in New Jersey, man.
Yeah, we talked about it
right near
before.
Atlantic City. Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's right.
You turn off the music.
Yeah, we talked about, I was going to pop down when you're in Ocean City. It's about 20 minutes
that's
away.
right. I'm sorry. Listen, man, my head's been elsewhere lately, so I haven't really.
Yeah, and I think it was elsewhere at the time, because afterwards I said, oh man, sorry I didn't make it. You said, I could have used the break. Wish you would have came.
Yes, that's right. So, well, man, you should have came up here tonight.
I'm telling you, you were telling, what's his name, Gnome Lake, to drive on up to you and hop in the car. I was like, man, I should jump in on that.
You should have.
Yeah, no one was here. Yeah, he just left a little while ago. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, he didn't take you up on the ride offer there, did he?
No, he sure didn't.
No, John, I said earlier in the day, I said, come up and I'll drive if you get up here. I didn't want to drive all the way to Princeton to get him, but Sean, he had to actually come up to drive his daughter, pick his daughter up, or drop his daughter at college or something, so.
Oh, gotcha.
You know.
Well, I'm going to take off.
Hippie's taking off.
Oh, you gone? All right, brother.
Or let us say good night.
Fantastic to meet you.
You too.
Yeah.
Again.
Heavy man.
I'm there for you. You know,
Thanks.
right?
Thanks. Be safe getting back, and we'll talk to you.
Is Dak sleeping over there?
Sleeping over where?
On the couch.
I don't know. Is he falling? Dak, you fall asleep?
Dak.
I'll probably be on, set my computers up tomorrow morning and try to make a little of this trip money back, so I'll see you all
Hell
along.
yeah,
Awesome.
dude. We'll get some divergences in the morning.
Yeah, beautiful day.
All right, man. Hippie, great hanging out with you.
Very much.
See you later.
All right, brother. Drive safe.
All right. Let's see what you got here. You're all tangled up here.
Did I kick it?
No, you're just all. What's that? There it is. It was just tangled on there. Sorry, man. Hey, Sean, how you doing?
Sean.
Again.
Hey.
Hear that?
Yeah, Hippie just left. It's cool to hang out with him. Sean, did we ever meet? Did I ever meet you?
No, we've never met, man. I'm a fairly new member.
Oh, cool.
I've been listening on and off for
First time, long
about
time?
7 years or so.
I always wanted someone to say that.
Dude, first time, long time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's right.
Well, then we definitely get to hang out maybe in February. You know, at the Traders Cup.
Dude, Sean's not,
Yeah.
he's not really close, but
Oh, is he? I thought he was in Jersey.
he is. He's in Galloway, though. It's down near Atlantic City.
Oh.
Yeah, right outside Atlantic City, just inland.
But I got a cousin that lives in Galloway actually.
I would never thought. I thought Galloway was like a place in Ireland. I'm not familiar with the South Jersey area. That's real South Jersey, right?
Yeah, South
Yeah,
Jersey.
Yeah. I've been in Atlantic City a couple times. Oh man, yeah, Atlantic City back in the day.
So Sean, what are you trading these days?
Oh man, I was trading the ES for a while, and kind of getting chopped up lately. So I'm looking back at swing trading.
Yeah.
Just swing trading some S&P stuff.
What are you looking to get in the ES when you're trading? I'm just asking what kind of target you're looking for.
Per trade
Point,
or like
two?
per day?
No, just on every trade.
Per trade, I'd love to get like 2 to 4 points. And
Okay.
there's probably my issue, correct?
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
It really depends on what you're,
yeah, I mean it's your style of trading, but
if you understand, that you have a better
you
better
know exactly.
chance.
Yeah, you know exactly what I'm gonna say, right?
Well, yeah, I got to tighten up my stops.
No, as far as trading the ES.
I'll go over to the YM.
Yeah. I only say that because if you're doing the right setups, because I don't know, man, I hate to harp on this, but I just have such a tough time trading the ES because I don't have the patience to sit there and wait for that fill, even if it's a point.
So I want to ask you this, Rob, because
What?
I've been following your YM trades a lot, and you mark off that you're giving out you're getting 8 ticks, you're getting 4 ticks, you're scaling out and stuff.
Right.
When you get in and you scale out there, are you automatically putting your manually?
I do a bracket order.
You're doing a bracket.
So I buy 5 or 6 contracts, whatever it is, and I have it automatically set to +8, +15, and +30.
All right. So break that down using a YM. What is that giving you per contract?
Right. So it's $5 a tick.
Yeah.
Right. So
And a
8
tick is a
con-
point in the YM, right?
Right. So 8 times the first 4 contracts that I take off, right? So it's $5 per contract. So
Per
the
point.
first target I take 3 or 4 off +8. So right there, that's $120 is my first target,
All right.
right?
Yeah.
So if I take 20, right? So for 3 contracts, that's $15. What's 15 times?
45. Oh, 8. 15 times 8, 120.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's 120 is my first target. Then the next one I put up plus 15 ticks. And that's on either 1 or 2 contracts, depending on if I'm trading 5 or 6.
All
So
right.
on 1 contract, then
So what do you see the average move in a YM? Because I don't pay attention to YM. I haven't
So
got
put up per contract.
What's that?
What do you have to put up per contract?
I don't think the margin's any more than ES. You know, so on
Like
TOS,
ES.
unfortunately, it's $5,200 almost, $5,300.
For
Margin, but-
one?
Yeah, but you can go to Apex. Hey, let's pump Apex. You can go to Apex and trade,
Yeah.
5 contracts. It's $500 margin. So
Right.
I may actually, after the divorce, I may just put a bunch of money into Apex because they don't force you to trade. You don't pay a platform fee.
Yeah.
The platform's good, and I use TOS charting anyway. So I'd rather give Apex the money and save myself a boatload in commissions. But John, I mean, this morning I had I had 30 ticks in the YM. Even on 1 contract, that's an extra $150 that you just wouldn't have. And you get these runners sometimes. I see sometimes 120-point moves, John.
Yeah. Well, that's a big one.
I'll short it. I'll take 15 thinking I'm a champ, and I'll look back later and it'd be down 80 ticks.
Yeah.
So, like I said, you try to trade the ES and there's 3,000 contracts on the offer. When I'm trading YM and there's 6 contracts ahead of my offer.
6?
Yeah, it's thin, which is good because if you get the move going the right way, there's very little liquidity that these guys have to suck up. So I'm getting filled sometimes +8, +15 in a matter of a split second.
Stopped out fast too, though.
You do.
Now you've been trading this YM though in a basically a flat market. So what the thing gets cooking, are you gonna
Yeah,
have
I'm
trouble
gonna do
getting in and out of
15.
your prices?
Well, what I'm gonna do is, because I know my methodology works, then I'm gonna step up. Because if I'm getting bigger moves, I'm gonna be looking for 15, 30, 45 and 60, as opposed to
Right.
stopping, at 45. And you
But
know what? Sometimes
would you be concerned with getting like a bunch of slippage? You hitting the market stop?
no, I've
Or
never
is it
had
a
a problem
stop
with
limit?
I've never had a problem with stop so far in YM. And like I said, sometimes I'll get 8 ticks before the ES even starts to move. Or it starts to move and
Wow.
it just gets stuck at a level. YM isn't like that.
Right.
you know?
Right. I've been seeing you posting, +5 or +8, and ES is just getting going.
Yeah. So I mean,
I'm gonna cut out.
going.
Yeah, man.
That,
Be cool.
you too, man.
Get out of here, Dak. All right.
All right. I'll catch you there. Thank you for everything, John.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you for coming out.
Yeah. Been out all morning, all day.
Dak's leaving. He's had a long day.
Yeah, I went from work to work. Really work. Hang out with you guys.
Hey,
This
yeah,
is work.
No, it isn't. It's fun.
All right.
All right.
YM.
We'll see you
All right,
later.
dude. Safe walk home. No, but Sean, I don't know, man. It's just something that fits my trading personality better. I wish I could sit with ES and get the full boat like K-Rod, but it wears on my nerves. Just waiting for the fills.
Yeah, I might have to move to that. The ES is
You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
Even on five contracts of the YM, right? You get 8 ticks. That's $120, and you can do that 10 times a day, easily.
so 8 ticks on a YM relatively equal to how many on the ES?
Well, you know what? Actually, hold on. If you take 5 contracts of YM and you sell the whole thing up 8 ticks, that's $160.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, 106. You do that twice a day, $320.
Yeah,
Yeah,
doing all right.
that's $6,400, whatever. It's not bad for doing something that's not even. I could teach friggin' monkeys to do this. You know what I mean? Just follow
Well,
what I'm.
Yeah,
I'm-
you were saying that earlier, and somebody said, I think it was Hippie said, you're better off teaching somebody that knows nothing.
Yeah, no, that's why
You
they
know,
take. Sean, you know that.
teach somebody like me, I have those built-in bad habits, and I sabotage it all along the way.
That's exactly it, and that's why like the prop shops, guys who they basically have a setup and say, hey, you want to be a trader? Come down to our office. We'll give you funds. We'll give you computers. These proprietary shops that they make money off of your commissions, and that's what they want. They don't want guys who have experience like me, who are actually traders. They want
Right.
guys who know nothing that they can mold. It's just like any boss. A boss doesn't want to hire a know-it-all. They want to hire somebody that they can train the right way, right? So, but the thing is, I could teach you the methodology behind a 3 and a 5 minute divergence, and I can even teach you how to pull it out of the air or be able to recognize it. But by the same token, I give you that information. You could be dangerous, because if it's a trending day, divergences aren't worth shit most of the time. You might catch 1 or 2 good divergences either at the top or at the bottom on a trending day, but otherwise you're probably just going to get chopped up in the middle. So, chop is great
Right.
for divergences. The open is great for divergences. The close is great for divergences. You throw in a Fibonacci retracement and, give me 1 good 5 minute double bottom buy divergence with steep stochastics, I will take that trade 100 times out of 100. And I can bet you I'll make money on 95% of those.
Yeah.
Right.
No doubt about it.
You got the discipline to take it off.
You have to.
Whereas, somebody like me, I'm wanting to hit that long ball every time.
Yeah.
You know
And
what, man?
that's killing
Singles.
me.
And that's the other thing, too, is
Well, then you have to, the best way to do that then is to not trade with 1 contract, trade with two contracts or more.
Yeah, I mean,
Right,
even
get one off.
K-Rod said, he was like, you know what? RPM asked me if he could actually, really really build up an account on trading, single contracts. And K-Rod said point blank, he was like, you know what? I really couldn't. I'm good, but there's no way to do it with
that's K-Rod.
Yeah, I mean it's really hard. I couldn't imagine trying to trade a single contract on YM. What, I'm going to make $40 every trade and give them, give them $10 back in a commission.
Well, sometimes it's important to think that the market will maybe give you easy $30, and so many people think that's, like looking at a penny on the ground, but it's not.
No, it's not.
And when it becomes that easy, you should take that $30. But we're so programmed to wow, this is an opportunity. I probably can make $100. I want to hold on to it, and you give that back. And that's the key to the markets, because it's just so hard to hold on to your profits. You can get them easily, but you can't. You're expecting more, and you lose it.
Yeah, that's the burner. Thinking that you're going to get more and more and more, you end up with less.
Yeah, and it's a tough. That's a tough, thing to learn. But you learn it over time. You really do. And once you get into it, and it kind of starts to feel good. Then that's when it really takes off. And I had to get to that high where it says, it feels good. $30 feels a lot better than $100 for some reason. You just make it feel good for yourself. And just say, all right, I'm getting 2-3 ticks. I'm doing a rotation on the fast stochastic. I'm not sure of the trend. I'm taking a short thing. I'm taking it off. Because I know it's going to happen again. And the next time might be a better setup. Might be a 5-minute setup on your side, and you feel really good about it. Then you can play with it. But majority of the time, I think you just stick to you stick to your discipline. You build that discipline. That's going to build the cash, and then it's going to give you it's going to give you the confidence to go longer.
Well, that's exactly what it is. If you get confident with taking 8 ticks out of the YM, you're going to be a lot more inclined to push that button. So, listen, man. Sometimes it's the hardest thing in the world to push that button, but you got to get that discipline down, and you have to say to yourself, I shouldn't be trading right now. There's nothing going on. I don't need to force it.
Yeah, there's the hard part. Not trading.
I say it all the time. You know how we used to say it on trading desks, and it's partially true. They say, how you make money trading? You don't lose money.
Right.
But there's people like I used to do. I used to take profits way too soon. And I was I always consider myself to be a good scalper and playing the gaps and, picking setups out. But I was taking profits way too soon, and it was I was like breaking even or barely making any money. I'm like, I don't understand. I'm making, 95% of my trades are successsul. And
right.
A couple guys...
Small wins and big losses.
Yeah, I'd get 30 cents in Facebook 5 times in a row, but then I'd take a $500 loss, and I'm like, here we go. So, I don't know, man. You just got to find what you're comfortable trading that you can trade enough of. That's what it boils down to. Because if you have something that works, like divergences, for example, if you trade multiple contracts, you're going to be successful. I said it before. I think if you just traded the divergences with single contracts, you could actually come out ahead. I think. I don't. You know what? I'd like to try it. You know what? Maybe I'll try it in Sim. I say maybe I'll try that in Sim. Sometime. Aussie saying Aussie, there's one on ES right now.
Yeah. Look at this one that happened at 6 o'clock. Right at the close. This low right here. It's kind of divergence right there. And then from that point, we grow, Is there one right now? It's hard to say.
Aussie's just saying there's
maybe on the medium.
Maybe it was earlier. Aussie, 3 or 5 minute.
Might be a medium.
Or 15
kind of a medium here. It's not much of one.
Yeah. Hey, Rob, you were saying you got to have that 3 up.
Yeah. I definitely think. I've said it before. I like the 3 because if you're watching 3-minute candles, a lot of times you pick up on it before you will a 5-minute. Because sometimes that 5-minute candle you're not watching, and in that 4th minute you get this big spike, but you might have seen it starting to build in the 3.
Yeah.
And I like to anticipate the divergences, like I said, only because I can keep a tighter stop if I'm wrong.
Sometimes you got to step in front of it. If you wait for it, it's too late.
Yeah, I mean, machines already pick up on that shit. So,
And cause the reaction, basically. You know, it's just like a.
and they have the power. They have the size. I'm trading 5 lot. That's nothing. But you know what? In YM, that's the offer sometimes. You know, sometimes there's 5 contracts. Sometimes there's 30. You watch the YM in real time. There's not much volume there. And that's why if you get the move in the right way and that divergence really takes hold.
Yeah, I think to me that's a scary thing, no volume. You know, you get that security blanket that there's plenty of buyers or sellers for you whenever you need them.
But that's okay. In the YM, if you're wrong, you want to know quickly. You want to know in 4 or 5 ticks. You know, and waste $80 or you know, $60, whatever you're trading. I'll take $60 losses all day to know when I get a $250 setup coming. You know.
So that's a good question. What's your percentage now? Your accuracy?
I would say it's probably about in the 90s now.
Wow.
I think it's actually more than that. Dude, there's very few days when I look at the P&L and I look at the trades that I've done. I have very few losing trades. And I'm
That's
sticking
crazy,
with
man.
one thing. And no, that's not true, because I do like mean reversion trades too, and even those have been working.
Right.
ES Tradometer oversold.
It's just really statistics, you know.
So the bulk of it is divergence.
The majority of it is a divergence, but you see, man, if it's a trending day, a lot of times I might take 1 or 2 divergence trades, and that's it, because, you know, on trending days you buy the pullbacks to the 50s, and you short the retracements to the 50s. So it's
So you do your mean reversions on a trending day.
no, I'll do it on a chop day or a trend day, but divergences you can only do on, you know, mostly in chop. You know, but then the other thing is too is, I've said this before, you want to stack the odds in your favor. Like this morning, I took that YM 950 reversal, Johnny. I said it to you. It was good for over 60 ticks. So Sean, that's an example.
Right.
You know, I mean, this was a boring day today, right? You know what?
That was the biggest move of the
Yeah.
day, right here.
60. What's 60
Right at the
ticks?
beginning, it had some moves, and then it just kind of dropped.
60 ticks on one contract, Sean, is $300.
Nice.
Do that with 5.
That's
That's $1,500 on that move if you did 5 and you held it for the whole way. You're not going to, obviously, not right, you know, near the open or in the first half hour, but it was I remember, I think it was a 3-minute buy divergence. It was a 950 reversal. You're looking at ES. ES made the same move.
Yeah, no, I know. I was looking at the ES. I didn't have the other one. I don't even have it up on the
I'm
screen.
bringing the wide up right
I
now.
have to bring the Y.
Look right at 9. I got long at 9:49 this
Let
morning.
me bring it up. I'll bring it up on the screen here. I can pull it out.
Somebody said to me in a room yesterday, they sent me a message, and they were like, you know, I'd really like to follow your trading. You seem pretty consistent. I was like, I put them in the room all day, every day. I give you charts.
Yeah.
I point them out saying, it's coming. Here it comes. Hey, just an FYI, you got a double bottom 5 minutes showing up. You know, like I said, there's certain trades that is, when I see them, I'm not even going to hesitate.
All right, we'll just take a look here.
There it is. Oh, there it is.
Yeah, right down here.
950. I got long at 949.
It's right in this level.
If I'm not mistaken, you're going to see a 3-minute buy divergence. I believe it was.
See where I can find that.
And Sean, the person that was asking me was like, so I'm looking at your chart. I see you made a lot of money off of it, but I don't see why you took the trade. And I said, well, I anticipated. And he's like, oh, so it's a gut thing. And I was like, no, it's not a gut thing. It's a methodology, and I'm just taking an early entry because I want to make sure if I'm wrong, I know while the stochastics are just barely embedded, because that's where the least amount of risk is for the
You were
maximum.
talking about one of your charts you put in today?
No, it was yesterday. I was posting something, and he started
Yeah,
questioning.
today you had your line drawn there. It was perfectly clear why you took it.
Yeah. And I said, like, he was asking me, I was like, you know what? I post them all day. Just follow along. You know, because it's very hard when you get 15 PMs at the same time.
So what time was it? It was 9:50.
9:49.
Yeah, right here. And then it's right before that it popped.
And I quickly got +8, +15, and it
That
ran.
was today, right?
Yeah, I got
Okay.
8, 15, 30, and then 20. I got stopped out on. And look where it went. That gave you 95 points, John.
Oh, yeah.
And when I pointed it out earlier, right? I know the price. It was 18,006.
All right, yeah. So right when it was going. Right before it went.
Right. So if you're looking at this, Sean, you're looking at his screen,
I'm looking at mine. Hold on.
and look at the stochastics right there, John. When it
Alright, good.
when it started to set up there. So when I saw it start to turn back up, I jumped in,
Right.
and it had
US
already been.
tradometer oversold.
But I was going on the 950 thought.
And 950's been hot, too.
Yeah. And then usually there's a 3-minute cell divergence at the close I've been finding.
I think there was a 950 move. Was there a 950 move yesterday or the day before? Let's see what happened one day.
No, I think we had a
That was a
short
950.
sell-off, and
That was a
it.
950 reversal right there, though.
Yeah,
That was
it
a
was.
perfect 950 sell-off. That's kind of cool. Going into Thursday now. But, all right, what is that right there?
Alright, so Rob, what did it take for you to realize this isn't my day and walk away? So if you're pretty accurate, what's that inaccuracy look like for you to say, I can't do this today?
Well, I think Keldar goes by the 2-trade rule. You know, but there's times when I just, you know, you probably should, I don't know. I guess if you have 2 in a row, you should probably just take a step back.
At least take a breather.
Yeah, I'm a little impulsive, but it's only because of the consistency that I see. You know, if I was struggling with consistency, I probably wouldn't trade as much as I do, and I might carry on my day after. Okay, I took 2 losses, but I think the next 4 are going to work. But you know, Sean, for me, it's really seeing that P&L on the screen. If I see I'm down quickly $500, and the day just started, I may just say, you know what? Go get a coffee, take a step back, do some push-ups, and just wait for the setup. Because so many times previously, I'd take hits, and then I would want to trade the rest of the day, and I really just, you know, I put myself out by losing early. So, you know, a couple times in the morning I caught some nice divergences, and I only got small moves out of it. And if I would have just waited till 9:50, or, you know, a new high after 10, and see this thing grind up, I could kill it at that point sometimes. But there really is no day for me to pull a time for me to pull the trigger. I would say, I guess, if you get 2 losing trades, if I'm down 500, I might just step back and say, hey, something's not working. You know, it's a trending day that I'm just not stupidly thinking about. Because I mean, I do that too. Sometimes I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, what the hell am I doing shorting this market that's on a tear? Why am I thinking that my short is gonna hold this market down?
You're gonna catch that top on a quick little tear that just started.
Yeah, no doubt. So, but
Yeah, that's me all day sometimes. And then at the end of the day, I'm looking at it like, wow, you did everything, the complete opposite of what you should have had in there.
right. Well, that's something you have to recognize. I mean, people beat it. All the gurus say it. They're like, you know, just stay on the right side of the trend. And I don't know, man, you're on the right side of that 5 minute. You're gonna be okay. You know. So.
Right, man, I have some good days, I have some bad days. We're, you know, just kind of juggling. We'll get there.
Well, dude, it doesn't come overnight, but I'm telling you, if you stick with divergences, like I said, I think even on single contracts, if you do the right setups,
Yeah.
I think you can make money.
And small steps too. It's like, even I always say, finding that $20 bill on the ground, seeing a good setup, and taking it off, and taking it off with a profit, and sticking to a rule, not worrying about trying to catch a little bit more, but just stick to that definite rule and force yourself to stick to it, and it'll come easier once you see it works.
K-Rod uses brackets and he doesn't move it.
There
Once
you go.
it's a machine. He gets 2 points. Stop goes to break even. He lets it go,
Right.
and that's it. +2, +4,
Yeah,
+7.
He's not smart enough to mess with it after the fact. It is what it is. Either I lose this many or I win this many every single time.
That's it.
That's a pretty nice way to go. 'Cause then it's all about your accuracy at that point.
Oh
That's
yeah.
what I'm saying. I think I got to look because I just do tallies, John, but I'm at 150, no, 162 in a row.
Yeah. Well, it's like anything.
Wow.
But
Yeah.
but Sean, that's not to brag about the number. I always say, what does that number represent, though? That's consistency, man. That's what you want. It could be that number could be 1,000. That number could be 10 in a row.
You can't downplay that. That's a pretty impressive number.
But K-Rod's, I'd say K-Rod days in a row, he's probably in the 500s.
Man.
I don't remember and he'd tell you, I don't make money on every trade, and neither does he. He gets run over too, because these are computers that are whipping around and throwing money around, and you see him trade oil. I don't know anybody that trades oil better than him. K-Rod's probably the best trader I've ever seen. I'm not saying that to kiss his ass. I'm just saying I've never seen anybody as consistent as him. So that's kind of what I strive to be. So he and I do it totally, I look for divergences. He doesn't. He's a fib guy. He's a, channel guy. He's a, he has his other indicators and stuff. But, Jordan trades, accumulation and distribution and technicals. This is, we all do it a little bit different, but, you got to do what works for you.
Right.
I wish I had I say it all the time. I think we have the Holy Grail.
Yeah.
I said that there's this guy, John, this guy, Rob Booker? Charlie, Prolonged Wealth has actually had him on.
Yeah.
Like, he showed his show. He does like a podcast.
Yes, I don't remember seeing that. Yeah.
And he actually sent the thing to me. It was like one of the mailers, because when you sign up for trading stuff, I get 100 emails a day. So this Rob Booker sent this thing on divergences, and John, I could read you the text that I sent him. And the guy was like, "Yeah, you actually made my day." I saved it. I wanted to share this with Johnny. So I sent him this crazy, like, the guy probably thinks I'm a stalker. But he said, here. I said, I've recently found the power of divergences and couldn't be more thrilled. It feels like after 20 years, the light bulb went off. I found consistency I lacked for so long. And he said, that's so awesome. And I said, I'm always tweaking and trying to build a better mousetrap, and divergences coupled with stochastics have really increased my winning percentage. I said, that's what brought me to this webinar that you sign up for.
Yeah.
And he said, what did he say? So the last thing he said to me was, "You made my day. Thank you for sharing these thoughts." I know the guy's like, this guy's a nut job. He's sharing all this, but, I said it before, man. We just were onto something.
Yeah. It's the discipline and patience that is the secret ingredients, really.
I seriously think you could teach somebody that knew nothing about trading.
Yeah, you can, and that's probably the
look
best
for
thing.
this.
You got to.
So Rob, you just got 9-6 on the YM of 10. Now the ES just started jumping. So it was 9-6 on the YM before the ES got more than 3 ticks.
Right.
Just happened now.
So right there, dude, there's your $205 trade on 5 contracts at 9 ticks. So if you can trade 5 contracts and hold out for 9, you just made half your day right there. And I don't know what kind of, do you trade for is that your only source of income, or do you work another job?
No, still work.
Oh, okay.
But I get some days off where I can do nothing but trade, so it's pretty nice.
Well, that's a good way to learn. I suggest you definitely trade in sim, even when you're not, Johnny says it before he sees it. I used to, when I was still working with the divergences and learning, I made $800 during the day, and then I switched over to sim just to take batting practice. Because you'll find that certain trades work the best. And I still needed to find those out. So the 3 5-minute combos and the 3 and 5-minute double bottom divergences or double top divergences with steep stochastics, those are the ones you want to go for. Because I think, John, computers just pick up those anomalies, those, the ones that are way out of range, just like I do the mean reversion trades. When you see a stock or a future or anything, a candle spikes up to like a 3.5 standard deviation or a 5 standard deviation, that's like fireworks going off somewhere where people are like, oh my God, we have to short this thing or we have to buy this thing. It's such an extreme situation. It's just like the popcorn and
it's funny because it's like every time you get that pop, it comes right back down.
Yeah, and sometimes you get it right on the Fed day.
Yep.
They stand out to me. Or sometimes somebody will point out a stock in the room that has news on it, and all of a sudden you get this long wick that goes right to like this one Bollinger Band that's a stretch, whatever it is, on whatever time frame you're looking at. But those are the opportunities you have to jump all over. Those are the ones you don't even want to think about. You want to just know when you see them. And there's certain ones that you'll start to see when you trade the divergences. Like, oh, I knew that was going to work out.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen that 1,000 times.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't, fuck it, man. You lost 6 ticks.
Yeah.
If you're batting 95%, just trade those divergences, you're going to have some 5.
Yeah. There's
you're going to have 5 or 6 losses out of every 30. Or maybe less, maybe you're not seeing it right. Maybe you're trading on the wrong time frame. Maybe you're not doing the 3. You're trying to trade the 1 or the 2 because you don't want to use as big a stop. Well, if you don't want to use as big a stop than you need that you need to have, you need to cut your size down. Don't trade 5 contracts if you can't take an 8-tick hit. Trade 3 with a 8-tick or. But I think you see how sometimes ES doesn't move, the YM will move around. You might get shaken out. You're right, because it's thinly traded sometimes. But I think that's the better option for you. I don't know. I could be wrong. Hey, Viljar, how are you, man?
Yeah, we'll give it a shot.
At least trade it in sim, Sean.
Viljar got the best beginner truck in the world. 2 stand already.
Viljar, you mean tonight? Singing our accolades. Wow, that is the coldest order I think that ever came out of a cooler. Oh, yeah. Oh, first week with a real account. Congrats, man. What are you trading, though, Viljar? I don't know if he's trading. I'm assuming he's trading futures. Oh, oil and gold. Okay. Wow. That's pretty bold, man. Guy's first week of trading with real money, he's trading gold and oil. Holy shit. Viljar, I've been doing this for 20 years and I refuse to trade those two. Oh my god, I got 8 drinks going.
Wait, hold on, I'll give you another cup.
Oh man. God bless you, Viljar. I don't have the stomach to trade oil. I traded 6J today with K-Rod, so I was pretty happy about that. You have a solid system. Awesome. So, Viljar, what are you doing? You trading the divergences with us, or you just trading your own stuff, or? Sean, what platform are you using, by the way?
Here's the guy you want. He doesn't have bad habits I have built in.
Well, how long you been trading? You been building bad habits, Sean?
Oh, yeah. I've been trading for 8 years.
8 years?
8 years.
And you just got the DTR?
Yeah.
What the hell were you thinking?
I was tuning in every once in a while over years, and as I'm trying to figure out, figure out what my style is, I just kept hearing Johnny's voice in my head from videos I watched, 7, 8 years ago. Putting everything in channels, just casted, I just kept hearing him, like, I gotta get back on there. And so I jumped back on.
Well, I'll tell you what, man, Johnny was my saving grace because, like you said, man, I didn't have the consistency. I always considered myself a good trader. I used to make a lot of money trading the gaps. And I mean, I was taught that. And then as a market maker, I was like, wow, man. As a market maker, you start to see it actually happening. And you're like, oh my God, I'm never working for somebody ever again. And that's when I went on my own and I started killing it, but then it was inconsistent.
Yeah.
And then I told Johnny the reason I came to DTR was I saw one of his videos, and I started watching some of them. I was like, wow, man, he does exactly what I want to do. Just listen to music all day, talk to people, talk about trading, teaching them to trade, and I've been with him ever since. I said, you guys get me through the day, you know? There's worse things I could be doing than sitting here trading, making money, laughing my ass off, and doing push-ups, and, you know?
Yeah, at least, you're good people, right? Look at the people that we hung out with today. Good people.
Anthony's a little much, but, you know. But, I mean, no shit.
The Army will be up here. We asked him, I said, Paul, we'd like you to be up here. He would be on a plane.
Yeah.
It would mortgage his house and be on a plane.
Look, Sean would have been with us, too, if I, if I could have
Oh,
waited.
I love that guy, man. I almost went anyway. I almost jumped out of my seat.
Was J-Dub ever supposed to come up?
I talked to him earlier in the day, and then he was like, dinner? I'm like, listen, I don't want to go up there at dinner. I want to get up there early, hang out, because it's an hour and change, so.
Bill works full-time, and he's trading. How do you put these trades on? Your phone or at the desk?
Moving averages, stochastics, okay. Nice. He's got a solid system now. He's been following us, John.
Oh, that's awesome. Oh,
Biljar killing it. First week with trading live money, trading gold, trading oil. He's up for the week. Long order crude right now. Okay.
Took 4 points on gold. That's really good. I mean, imagine that. Oh my God.
Yeah, that's what? That's $10 a tick?
That's nice. He's up. They say he's up 2,000 already. It's been trading for a week or 2 weeks.
Damn.
This week, my first week, 1 week. He's been paper trading over a year though. That was nice.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's good. I highly recommend that. I'm telling Sean right now to make sure he trades.
I don't have the market up here. Look at that. I messed up. I had it.
John, check the 15-minute chart
Alright.
for divergence. That's one thing I like to do is after hours, at night,
I'll just go
pre-open.
down. Yeah.
I always look at the 15-minute because sometimes the divergence is because there's such light volume.
Overnight.
Over 15 minutes, you might get some nice.
Yeah, nothing right here, but it was definitely over here. You could see there was probably a divergence right here on that. That was definitely a divergence on the 15.
Yeah.
Right at the open. Big divergence too.
No.
I mean, a really big one.
I like the open because
Yeah.
guys are seeing guys are smarter guys than us are seeing this.
You know what? And I stress the caution on that because it is volatile. But you know what? You are going to get the biggest moves at that time.
The beginning and the end of the day,
Yeah,
especially the beginning of the day.
You know.
Guys are placing their bets and they're really.
And those moves, those
pressing.
moves show up. It's a divergence. It doesn't matter where it shows up. There is a reason behind it. A scientific reason. There's a mathematical reason.
Right, and if you get a dual stochastics or a triple,
Yeah.
I mean that's what I say about stacking odds in your favor.
But this is, it's still a very aggressive trade, because it's so volatile. And sometimes you're hanging there and it drops.
It is, but you got to realize that's where you're going to get your biggest reward.
Yeah.
If you're right. But then you got to let it work, and I'm the first person to
What's
take
your
off
stop?
way too
What's your
soon.
stop on the YM?
Sometimes it's 4 ticks, sometimes it's 8, sometimes it's 5 or 6, and that's only
what's your bracket look like initially?
initially I usually do 8, but then I'll tighten it up. 8 tick stop.
Okay, you're manually hitting that bracket over and over.
Yeah. Sometimes it's 5 right off the bat, but a lot of times, John, on a technical basis, if it breaks that wick, it's going lower. If it breaks that wick, it's breaking out.
Yeah.
So that's why, I anticipate these divergences based on these extremes to the upside or the downside because I know where I'm wrong. I know where I'm wrong on a chart where a computer is going to pick up on that and hammer it against me. So I want to cut my loss. People are like, "Oh, you got to give it a little bit of room." Well, that doesn't really work a lot of times because once it cracks that wick by 1 tick, it's going lower or it's going higher. So people are like, some guy did a study as far as, every time it got to a pivot point or it got to a double bottom, should you buy it or should you wait for it to hold? And he found that over time, statistically, you're supposed to buy that level.
Now there's no spread on this, right? It's just a one.
It's one.
One.
That's
So
it.
That's nothing severe.
I mean, sometimes there's an extra tick in there that you have to, give up, but I wouldn't trade it if it was like that.
Yeah.
But like I said, if you only got to go through 30 contracts before you get filled as opposed to 3,000 contracts on the ES. And look, Sean just said it. The ES barely budged, started to move, and the YM had already moved 8 ticks.
Yeah, side by side. It was about 9 to 3. So in dollar amount, though, mine might have a little advantage there.
Well, you know what?
Yeah,
It has an advantage because you're going to get filled probably if you're right.
Right.
You can be the best friggin' trader in the world, but if you trade ES, you might not get filled.
You'd have 45 bucks on that. YM's got a financial advantage to that, too.
Yeah, I would much rather trade YM, like I said. I'm trying to encourage Paul because he has the right setups, John.
Yeah.
I just want him to be, he's consistently hits the right setups, but I think he gets caught in that ES where you get the itchy finger. You want to move your stop way too quick. He did have some really good, nice trades, though. He had some 4-pointers a couple of times recently. So, but I mean, Sean, if you're looking to make 4 points, God bless you, but, I think...
So, I was swing trading before this, and had, success and failure there.
Stocks, though?
Stocks, yeah. I had some really great months and some not so great months, and, so I started doing the ES. What the hell was I doing that? I had a point. I just spaced.
Well, I mean, there's nothing saying you can't swing and then also trade, ES to pay the bills.
So that's where my mindset kind of came in. Yeah, so I did really well in the beginning. It was a little bit before the Brexit, so it seemed like a more my type of market. And then the Brexit hit, I did well. The night of Brexit, and then once after that bounce after Brexit and just that sideways shop, that's been killing me. I just cannot.
It is tough. It's tougher.
I'm watching you guys do it every day. Divergences. Works in the chop, and
It works really well in the chop. But you gotta be, you have to be disciplined though, man. You gotta move your stops.
Right.
I tell RPM's been, more consistent because he said he moves his stops a lot quicker. And I'd rather keep getting stopped out, break even plus 1 tick, to not lose.
Yeah, but I mean, my thinking is kind of against the old adage of let profit run. If you're constantly stopping out real quick.
Well, I usually try to get 8 ticks first,
Right.
But I get 8 ticks, I'll move it to break even plus 1 and just let it go.
When RPM first started doing that, he was, one tick. He kept moving it so fast. I haven't seen him trade lately, but he was winning a lot, but they were all very small.
Right. Well,
So one loser wiped out, 5 winners.
well, that's something we've talked about in the past is trading. You really want to try and trade at least 2 contracts.
Yeah.
I mean, if I can get
Right.
He has trade on or oversold.
Give the other one a chance.
Yeah, I mean, wait, let me think about that. So I got to do the math because I haven't traded that small. All right, so that's 40 plus. All right, so if you trade 2 contracts on the YM, and you take
Right.
plus 8 plus 15, that's $115,
Yeah, nice trade.
right? And
And I just watched 9 go through on a 3-tick move.
And you see me point these out all day, right? Consistently 8:15 usually, right? Or maybe 8:10 or 8:12. But I see that 8:15 a lot, so I really need to start stepping up my size to do that. But even with 2 contracts, man, you get 3 of those a day. That's $300. It's not bad. Not bad for sitting with a bunch of idiots in their underwear trading.
That's pretty good living. So yeah, 300 bucks. They did that 5 days a week, 40 weeks a year. That's $60,000.
For doing nothing. For trusting a statistical setup. Right, John?
Yeah. I have a video for you, Sean. I don't know if you saw this one yet. The project we're going to do with Apex Futures, the blueprint.
I saw that one.
Well, because it actually goes through like a kind
little
of
puzzle pieces.
yeah, but it goes through a kind of a blueprint of how to start trading, even doing it with the sim, and just taking these different setups. Just only take the divergence, and the divergences are, and this is it right here. And I kind of this is the discipline you need. You need to take what is here, stage 1, and make sure it falls into the character, and then. But the other part of this is, actually, this is on the video, so I can't really fast forward it. Let me see if I can fast. But the other part of it is the exit scenario, and you have to pay attention to that exit scenario. But it also shows you how to trade with 1 contract and how to move it up to 2 contracts and multiple contracts. I mean, you can see there's the good charts there, and that's like a business. That's a business plan, I think. And that's. You have to be that disciplined in this job because everyone can do this. Everyone can step in here and try to do this, but there's only the great people who are going to be able, just like in baseball, and the ones who have that super discipline, practice, know what the pitches to hit. Use analogies to help you relate to something that you can relate to. That's why we try to use analogies and stuff. So you find something that you're great at. And then what's the reason? Because you have a passion for it. You spend the extra time to figure out the problems and every which way about it. You live and sleep it.
And you trust in it.
And you trust in it. And you have to. And when you see something that works, over time you're going to say, all right, I'm not going to swing for that anymore. Because you're going to wait for your pitch, and this is waiting for your pitch, and the pitch might not show up every day, and that's the hard part.
They do though.
They do.
One does at least.
Yeah, but you know what? I know
That's the hard part for somebody like me. I get off today.
You get off, yes.
Down. And
You got the
I
time.
have to trade, right? Because today is my day to trade.
Right.
Tomorrow I have to go to work. So you start swinging at more than.
I get it 100%, I feel that sometimes pressure too, because I'm like, all right, people are listening. I said,
I got to make money. People are
yeah,
following me.
and and I'm trying this, but I don't feel comfortable in this week, this month, this environment. It just feels weird to me, and it's like, just there's something about it, and it's. I took a hedge. I actually took a hedge today, but that was the only trade I took, and yesterday I took 1 trade on the ES. And I got sidetracked, and Anthony came over. But, I would just stick to you try to stick into the divergences. Or,
Right.
Try
I think I got to develop that patience. Just wait for that, nothing else.
And then that rotation.
I'll tell you, Sean, you're going to start. I would start with the 5-minute double bottom. Just watch for those, because they come. You see at least 1 a day. at some point.
Right.
Even if it's on the fast stochastics or if it's on the full.
Oh, you know what? We point them out. I mean, if you could go back here,
Jeez.
it's not like I'm going back tonight saying, oh, let me circle this area and say that would have been a great spot. We circle these things live, and we go back to them and say, all right, we mark this off. These are just the tools that are helping us, but we're pretty damn close to bottoms here, you know? We're pretty damn close.
That trader meter's been killing.
Yeah, it's pretty close. I mean, sometimes, you go further, and when you don't deal with ES, people might have tight stops on that, and it might flush down another
As they
dollar.
should.
Yeah, and that's a difficult area. You know, you're gonna lose sometimes. You are gonna get a further follow through. Most of the time, between a Rambot, like this one broke down. You know, and that's that was at 950. And we know that 950 kind of a volatile area, but then you started seeing these flag setups, which I think are great to trade. So,
Oh, yeah.
and that's a different style altogether. But stochastics are giving us the clues to the market. We just have to wait for that perfect setup, a divergence, and then you have the reason to push the button.
But, John, you got to remember something. You got in on the stochastic, and look, it was the beginning of that move.
Yeah.
You pointed it out at the beginning of the flush, and it just grinded down all day. It chopped down all day.
Yeah.
So, yeah, these guys are picking up on the flags, but you're already in. I have to learn to hold my runners, man.
It's hard. That's so hard. But that's why you need multiple.
Get 90 ticks or 100 ticks.
Well, if you do multiple contracts, it's easier for you because you could always just leave.
Yeah, I
one.
can leave one. You're right.
You could just leave one for the. But your mental mindset is so hard for that.
Yeah, because I'm thinking, all right, that's an extra $50. I can buy
Yeah.
sushi for the
Yeah.
family tonight,
Yeah.
As opposed to, I'll just hold out for the 100 ticks. So,
Why don't you do an extra contract
yeah, exactly.
and just don't pretend?
Yeah, pretend I don't own it anymore
Yeah.
with my bracket. Yeah, I probably should do that. But K-Rod says, man, that's the way you make your money is your runners. So I've been trying to take bigger targets. Trying to hold out for 30 ticks on YM or 45 ticks.
Well, I tell you what. Tomorrow. What is tomorrow? Thursday. Tomorrow I'll focus a little on the YM. I'll bring it up. I'll track your trades. You post them. We'll mark them off. We'll kind of maybe get you on Skype and stuff, and maybe discuss some of the setups.
Yeah, I mean, they're,
Because.
we trade the basics, man. The 3, the 5.
But I want to. It's one thing for me showing everyone, but it'd be great if you show them too on the YM.
Yeah.
Because the YM, the YM is less threatening. It really is.
Right.
It
It really is less threatening, like I said, because there's no volume. The
Yeah.
volume isn't there that you have in ES. And on a technical basis or divergence, if I'm right, I'm going to get the move I'm looking for, at least to fill. How many times you buy ES and it moves 2 ticks and then you get stopped out, either flat or for a loss? I can't stomach that anymore.
Yeah, it's.
Even K-Rod abandons the ES a lot of days and he trades the currencies. 6E, 6J, trades gold, trades oil. Because ES sometimes just doesn't give it to you.
Yeah.
But look, the 950 reversal on this morning, how many points did you get in ES? It was over 8, right?
Yeah, it was over.
It was over 8 points, so... when K-Rod goes for the full boat, I'm sure he got 7 points a couple times today on ES. If he was trading it. So...
I got my text from my. Oh, right on.
Yeah, Viljar's saying the same thing. Important to keep a runner. So... Well... So, Sean, I don't know if any of that helped you, but...
Absolutely, man. I appreciate it. You guys
I tell Johnny this all the time, man. I try to share this stuff because it's stuff that I've struggled with enough. People don't realize the power of these divergences. Like I say, you can sit down at any point in the day and within a few minutes, you're going to find a divergence. And you're going to take it and you're going to make money. You're going to be like, oh my God, this is... I don't want to say it's easy, but you're like, oh my God, this is accessible. Like, I have access to this kind of powerful information that I can actually, if I'm disciplined, I can make this work. So, and like I said, people are like, oh, you make it seem so easy. Oh, like, And I said, listen, it wasn't an overnight thing. I said, and I still...
How long, Rob, before, I mean, you came from a different world, you came from marketing, right?
Yeah.
A little bit
Yeah, and then, I got news for you, man. Traders, professional traders that trade, positions for firms and stuff like that, these guys don't even know how to read a chart, man. We blow them away with what we know. These guys are just, the guys that trade stocks for banks and stuff like that, they're just trading for commission, Sean. They wouldn't know, they don't know Fibonacci's and stuff like that. I mean, the smart guys do. The guys that work at, probably the guys that do what we do also, But it's just a passion of mine. So that's why I started to get into technical analysis. And even as a market maker, when I started to learn about gaps, I was like, holy shit, I'm in the middle of this thing and I'm not even realizing what's happening here. And then I started exploiting it, and I was like, you know what, I'm not working for these bozos anymore. I'm going to do this myself. Mm-hmm. So I started trading gaps at home, and like I said, I was consistently inconsistent. I had the great setups, and I had a great percentage, but I wasn't making the money that I really wanted to. And then John started talking about divergences, and, then I started tweaking it. I started looking at the 3-minute. And I started trading only the 3-minute, and I was like, wow, this is really consistent. Mm-hmm. And I started comparing it to the 5, and I'm like, well, it might be a little more risk, but I'm getting more setups in the 3-minute. And then I started to back test, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, well, I can get in for a tighter stop if I use the 3-minute. And then that just built on it. I was like, okay, what if I put the relative strength in there? And what if I get a divergence in that as well? I'm like, all right, well, this shit all starts to look the same.
Yeah.
All the indicators start to point in the same direction.
And when you see them all line up, that's the best.
Yeah, so like I said, there's certain combos. If I see a 3-5 combo, I'm usually going to take it. If it's a double bottom, I'm going to take it. So I think if you're going to trade divergences to be successful, the steeper the slope of the line you draw on the stochastics, the better. If you get a double bottom and you get a really steep stochastics, that's awesome. That's more powerful than the sloppy, the sloppy 5-minute setup or one that isn't perfect. A lot of times you get that double bottom or double top 5-minute, like midday.
Here's some divergence. I've saved every time I see a divergence chart, I try to save it.
Yeah, I do too.
And I'm going to just show you some good examples of them, hopefully.
I do, because when people ask me to teach them to trade, I'm like, look at this. If you can recognize what I'm showing you,
oversold.
you'll be okay.
Yeah.
Because even with no experience whatsoever, if you look for these setups and you take them, you're going to come out ahead.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful double bottom right there.
Yeah, right here. This is
see?
Yeah.
I'm spotting this. Are you looking at Johnny's screen there, Sean?
I can't.
Yeah, I'm looking at it.
So Johnny just pulled his chart up, and the first thing I was drawing was to that double bottom with the stochastics.
Oh, yeah. Once you start to see it, it's obvious.
NQ tradometer oversold.
This is just some.
He's just throwing random.
Yeah, these are just.
He's just throwing up random charts.
Yeah.
That's another nice one.
So you got one happening right now. Let's go. Take a look at the ES right now.
YM.
Where now?
Oh, all of them.
Oh, look at that! Just dropped out here.
NQ and YM are registering.
Hold on, let me go back over here.
You get on your 3-minute chart. Crossing back down.
A little drop off there. Clinton campaign chairman Twitter account hacked. Breaking news.
Oh, shocker.
This is crazy, right?
God, you got Donald Trump grabbing crotch. You got Hillary and her more emails and hacks.
The Twitter account belonging to Hillary Clinton's campaign chairman Don Podesta appears to have been hacked days after hacked emails from personal email accounts were released on WikiLeaks.
You know we're a joke to the rest
At
of the world.
7:55 on Wednesday night, that's tonight, the account sent out a tweet says, "I switched teams. Vote Trump 2016." That was from Hillary Clinton's campaign chairman.
ES tradometer oversold.
Sent that out on a Twitter release. That's great. or something.
Take a look at 15 minutes on the
Yeah, you got a 1 minute setting up right here in ES. See that?
You got a 15-minute double bottom.
15-minute double bottom.
Oh yeah.
If it plays out right.
Oh, well, there you go. See those stochastics?
Yep.
See how steep that would be right now? That thing starts to turn back up.
Right.
That's a nice.
There-
That's something
there-
I
there's
look
the
for.
money.
Unfortunately, it's in the ES. Let's see if YM is the same setup.
You got a triple bottom, really. You got the 950 bottom in there, too.
Oh, I can't even do that. I have to start my other platform to get that because my IQ is not giving me the YM quotes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's right. But you can see. So that's what I'm saying, Sean. Trained eye right now, and I never used to. Before I realized
The
the power.
YM, too, yeah.
Before I realized the power of divergences, I was like, man, I'm never gonna be able to pick these things up. I don't know what the hell Johnny's looking at. And then I started looking at them. I'm like, oh my god, they just jump out at you.
Yeah. This is a nice one too. I think this is something. Even a 5 minutes kind of, got a little candle. It's not really a divergence. It came back down, but it's interesting to see that candle.
No, in the 1 minute it is though.
Yeah. Well, that's the five. That is the 5 minute. All right. So that's the 5 minute.
The 15, I was looking at.
Yeah. The 15 definitely looks like something. That looks so far the best.
Look at your 14.33 on that one. That was pretty good.
Oh, on the 5 was that?
No, on the 1.
All right, on the 1.
Your top stochastics on the 1 is definitely. There you go.
Oh yeah. You know what? You're right. I didn't even. My eyes were crossed.
And look at either the steep price or steep stochastics. I prefer the steep stochastics for an entry.
So a very sharp move down.
A sharp angle.
Sharp angle down.
Yeah, if it
From
if
highs
this
to
was
low?
up, if it was more like a 45-degree angle
Yeah.
or more,
Yeah. This, you mean going down this way or going up this way?
going up, like I would rather this side be higher, and it's more of a 45-degree angle
Yeah.
as opposed. That's what, like a 15-degree angle.
All right.
The steeper the stochastics, the better move you're gonna get.
Oh yeah, on the way up. Oops, there I go. So kind of
Or down. There was a beautiful 3-minute cell divergence yesterday in the ES at the close. And it was really steep stochastics. Or maybe it was the day before. I think it was yesterday, but
It's a 60 minute. I'm just looking at the 60 for the hell of it. Can't see anything out of there.
and a lot of times the almost double top or double bottom,
Yeah.
that's not a true. I
Yeah,
like
yeah.
those too, because if you have like a wick that really caused a real low,
Yeah.
but the body is about the exact same
Yeah. Yeah. You
price as the candle that you're focused on now, I'll take that trade if the stochastics.
So
are
look at you see the tradometer here also? Tradometer has been right on schedule here.
You got a point in the ES right there on that signal.
I can't move that over. Anyway, I can't move it over. Sometimes I can't control the stuff that on this show.
But I mean, some days Paul trades just a tradometer, and some days he doesn't. And I feel like he gets himself in trouble on days that he doesn't.
I mean, look at the last 3 signals. Even though it's not that much going on, it does point out the only places you would take a
Right.
shot. And even
you
on the
said those calculations for tradometer are based on stochastics for
multiple time
multiple
frames.
time frames.
Yeah.
Okay.
No,
Gotcha.
stochastics on 1, 5, and 60-minute time frames.
Okay.
Or actually the 1, 5 cash and ES.
So you know, anytime you get a signal, it's a 1, 5, and 60 all
Well,
in
not the 60.
concert.
No, 1, 5. So 1 and 5 on the ES and the on the cash.
Okay.
So yeah, it's really a 1, 5.
1,
setup.
5 combo every
Yeah.
time. Okay. I think that's good. I've been looking at the 2, 3 combos. Those have been working okay, but that 3, 5 is pretty powerful. If you have the 5-minute on your side, like you say, it's always a good thing.
Let's see here, but I mean that looks good. I
I
mean,
think Sean fell asleep.
Yeah.
Talk to the
I'm writing stuff down, man.
Taking notes?
Taking
That's
notes.
good, man.
That's good.
We don't like to repeat ourselves, but we do, because you know what we do? We just keep ringing that register and taking +2, +4, +15 ticks, whatever it is,
Oh,
man.
I mean, look at that. Yeah, look at that bounce here.
Like I said, don't think about the number, Sean. Just think about what it represents. Anytime you have that day off and you sit down, you know you're going to pick out a divergence. And you know confidently that you're going to go home with money in your pocket when you're done. That's a good feeling to have, as opposed to somebody like, where the hell am I going to get my next dollar from? How am I going to make money? I'm out of work, or I'm, getting divorced, or I'm doing something. How am I going to make that money that I need? And
well, how do you answer this question? I mean, that's not an easy question, but a lot of people out there love this option. They're scraping up money to trade.
Right.
Tough question. How much you think you could trade and be successful? And now that's an impossible question.
And
You don't have
$9
to get money for it, but just say you didn't have to pay any bills. Can you start off with 5,000 in the market and trade the stochastic?
we could try.
Yeah, no, I think you can. Absolutely, I think you can.
Maybe, you know what I could do? I could probably turn my toss account down to like $6,000 and only trade one contract.
I have that. I did that video because I was going to start. I'm starting to use Apex,
Right.
and I want to do it. I want to do a. I'm actually. What did I have? Was it 5K or 3K or something? I forget what I was going to do, but I want to just do it.
5K challenge, right?
Yeah,
Turn it
yeah.
into 10.
Yeah. So I want to do that. I want to try starting that next month.
On Apex, I think you could do it.
Yeah, I think I can do it on Apex. But I'm going to really just take the divergent. I'm not going to, guess. Not going to do anything. I'm not going to do it for the show. I'm going to do it.
You're going to trade the Rambot?
Right? Yeah, the Rambot and the tradeometer and just the divergence. The Rambot, just the divergence.
And you're going to try and trade how many contracts, though?
Well,
One or two?
I already put it down there. So if I have...
Wyland tradeometer oversold.
Take a look at this. I forget what I was going to start with.
I think you said two.
Yeah, the two.
Okay.
Definitely going to...
I think if you gave me $5,000 in an Apex account and you said, Rob, you can only trade 2 contracts, I think I could double that.
Yeah.
I don't think I would. I would trade ES though.
And how long, Rob?
Shit, $5,000. You'd have to trade. Oh my goodness, 15. All right. So what did I say before? You trade 2 contracts and you take 9 ticks out of ES. That's $115. If I did 1 of those a day or 2 of those a day. 15.
Okay, no. So let's just say, if you made $100 a week,
It would
52
probably
weeks,
take me 30 trading days, Sean.
About a month, double that account.
You know what?
Well,
I'm pretty
one
aggressive.
month
I'm
order.
pretty aggressive, so I'll say less than that. I'll say 3 weeks. I could turn 5 into 10 trading 2 contracts, trading YM. I might have to take 5 trades that day, but you know what, man? That would be an interesting task.
Hey, there you go. John, if you're doing this, and Rob is doing it, and a couple other people.
Yeah, no, I mean, that was the big plan, is to try to get people to all team up. We work as a team. The second part of it was like doing a round table and trading each day. And even if it's 2 trades a day, we just want to take the setup, make sure it falls into the criteria, take it, place a stop, and it should work out fine.
I mean, there's guys charging ridiculous amounts of money to do what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Teaching people to trade.
Right,
You know, John, for what? What's the DTR membership now? $50?
$50.
$50. So for $50, you have some of the best traders
Yeah.
you probably ever had the experience of working with.
I'll tell you what, this is the first time I've ever talked to another trader.
Yeah, it's not it's not something that you would do, right? It's just a hard place.
Yes, but we're very approachable.
We are
I mean,
approachable.
who trade? You guys trade traders because you're.
But we don't, we know each other, but I don't know really any traders. I know Wall Street people, fund managers and stuff, but it's very hard to find.
Sean, I have friends that are traders who don't know how to trade.
Oh, so yeah.
Yeah.
I just consider you guys my friends, so I know friends that are traders now.
Yeah.
But
No, agreed.
But
But I'm saying in the industry,
it's a strange thing to do for a living.
it's a very lonely business, man. Dude, if I didn't have DTR, man, I'd probably kill myself. You know why? Because if I was trading at home without,
it's hard. That's hard.
it is hard. You know?
Yeah, I think that for me that was one of the big reasons why I joined. Was
You want to be a loner?
Yeah, you're lonely, man. Plus, the tick strike is awesome. So I figured, all right, you got tick strike, you got news, you got entertainment, you got people on the chat. I mean, $50 for me was like, yeah, no brainer.
Yeah.
The tick strike is 40 by itself.
Yeah.
So if I want that, why might I come by $2 and chat with some people?
Man, I'm just going to have Johnny start kicking me affiliate money because I referred Cactus. I never got credit for him.
Oh, man.
No,
Cactus
man.
is great.
He is, man. Actually, Cactus and I, you don't know this, but we worked at Cantor Fitzgerald back in the day. Years ago. Yeah, he was actually a salesman out in California, and he'd call me to place trades for his customers, his institutions. Hey, Rob, buy me 100,000 flex, or buy me 1 million flex over the day, and, you know, I just try to beat the VWAP all day, and, you know, all right, you can buy 25 more here. Oh, the market's getting killed. Buy another 50 down here, and he basically gave me free reign to trade his orders for him. Rob, what do you think here? I'm like, nah, man, this thing's oversold. We got to be buying it down here. And you start applying that stuff, and you get to the point, John, where you're talking to these guys, and they really want, you know, they're calling you and saying, Rob, what do you think about this? And you have that knowledge behind you where you can say, hey, man, you know, why is this thing popping or why is it going down? When I used to say it's something technical, they used to laugh at me. I'd be like, you guys have no clue. You have no idea what we know about. You know? So, I don't know.
There's a little drop here in the market. We reached that previous low.
Yeah, right to previous low here.
Here you go. You got the bridges?
No, it's pretty much
Hourly?
kind of a coiled.
What's the hourly look like?
I'll tell you what, the 15 is still showing a nice Virgil still thinking turn back.
Yeah.
You gotta be careful though, Sean. A 15-minute candle could do some damage.
Yeah, it takes a while, right? So at one point,
it is. I see what
Well, that's when you drill down, man. You look at the 15. If that's starting to set up, go down to your 5. How's your 5 look? You want to make sure the 5 is at least in your direction. Then you go down to the 3. All right, 3's not showing anything. Stick with the 5. See what happens. All right, go down to 2 minutes. See if you start to see something. If you have to look for it, it's probably not there.
It's not there.
Exactly.
So the 5 is getting embedded, right? And let's go to the 3.
The 1 minute setup right now.
Let's see here.
That's the one right there, John, right?
That's the 15 right now.
Oh, 15
Yeah, that's
still
what.
set up.
Yeah, the 15. You're just saying the 15. This is embedded. You know, I wonder if there's some news out here, like there's these new. What's just crossed here? Something breaking news. I just mentioned before.
Somebody switching parties.
Oh yeah, someone said a thing was hacked. Oh, Twitter account. Oh, that's it. No, that wasn't that big of a deal. I thought it was some more emails. 15-minute here. See, I like that 15. 15. It is. You can see it's holding off that 20 line, taking out the lows. There's something brewing here.
But that, Sean, that's when I would drill down, though. So now you like the 15-minute go to the 5.
I think one of my issues is I'm playing a long time frame in a short time frame game, you know?
Well, that's not true. I mean, because you see people like in the chat room, like Abby, right? She's always in the futures room. She goes off the, she does mean reversion like I do, but she goes on the longer time frames, and she'll go off the hourly. It gets stretched on an hourly, she'll buy it, and she'll sit with the thing all day. She'll make 20 points, or 10 points, you know, off the bottom in ES.
Right. One trade is something that too. You know, one trade, boom, bunch points, done.
That's it. I think she takes half off plus 10, and the other part off plus 20, and then that's it. You know, I don't know if she's getting 10 and 20 points these days, but God bless her if she is. But listen, that's what works for her. Me, I need to be like a cheap hooker, in and out in minutes, and just, you know, I don't like sitting with positions. I get very uneasy, and that's something I've said before. And I've heard Ben in the pit. You listen to the pit feed at all?
Occasionally, yeah.
All right, he's good to listen to because he comes up with some gems.
Market here dropping here further.
Yeah. He definitely preaches education, so he's pretty good.
No, and he said the one thing you have to learn to do as a trader is you have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. You're in a
Right,
short
right.
position that's working. Don't be so friggin' quick to cover it. It's working in your favor. You know, let it go. Be uncomfortable and let the thing, you know, ride itself out. But somebody also said that you can't make consistent living taking, you know, a point on an ES here or there, or, you know, trying to scalp YM for a few ticks. Well,
Right.
we just proved him
People
wrong.
do that.
We proved him wrong.
Yeah.
If you have the right methodology.
Is that the only trade you trade? Do you trade any long-term positions at all?
I might take a little swing in, like, you know, my son has type 1 diabetes, so I like to play the diabetes stocks because they tend to be thinner. They're mostly owned by institutions, so they tend to move them in the right direction. You know what I mean?
Right.
So there's one Johnny was looking at today. John, put up Dexcom.
All right. Bring it over here.
This is one that my son actually uses as technology. His insulin pump talks to their technology. And we say it was that it held that trend line, right?
Yeah, right up against that trend line.
You know, you got the hourly starting to roll back up, hopefully, and
Yeah, hourly is starting.
What's that average daily volume? That's what I like to look at. You know, is there enough for me to get in and out at will?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
It's
mean,
about
you're
a
not going to be
million
trading. Yeah, it's an $80 stock, so you're not going to be trading that much. The options trade like shit. I've traded options on it before, and I actually sold options because I was hoping I would get a sign and get it cheaper.
Yeah, but it's under a 5. I would say it's under a 5-cent spread. You know, it's
Yeah, it's sometimes.
maybe it's a little higher.
Sometimes the dime, 12 cents sometimes, but for the most part, when you see it tighten up, you can buy it.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, when it starts to tighten up, you know that market makers are involved because they want to hold it down. That's the point. As a market maker, the first thing you do is, if I get an order from an institution, it says, Rob, buy me 1 million shares of Cisco. Cisco trades like nothing, right? Or buy me 1 million shares of Apple. The first thing you do, and when you're trading an order for a customer, is you go on the offer if they're a buyer. Because you want to find out if you're going to get, you know, if somebody else is selling stock with you, or, you know, who you're selling stock to. Because you'll actually see who you're buying it from. If it's, you know, if it's not an ECN, it's going to be Goldman or Merrill or whoever, you know.
J-Rod looking for ES 21, 13, or 14.
K-Rod's in the room?
No, he just someone Aussie posted it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I asked him if there were any 23.6 retracements for tonight, and he said no. It's the way they closed, there wasn't an opportunity for him. But I made some good money off of that OYM 23.6 the other night.
Still moving down now. YM's gonna retest those lows. That ES already broken. YM.
We've gotten 2 signals in YM, 2 signals in NQ, and one in ES, but it was before. But this is a perfect example. The market's grinding down like this. Divergences probably aren't going to help you.
Well, it's flatlined here, but you never know. It's
Right.
hard, yeah.
You know, a couple times in YM, I'm glad I moved my stop quickly, or I'm glad I left it out there because they got swept up very quick today. So I don't know if you call that dumb luck or I was just smart enough to move my stop quickly. But there's no reason to give money back to these bastards once you make it. Seriously. I'd rather take $50 and forego the 30-point runner.
Yeah.
You know, just because, okay, now I can go take a piss. You know? I don't have to stay in front of the computer if I don't want to.
I'm looking at your DX, weekly's a little rough.
Yeah, and that's the problem. And like I said, these are institutionally owned, some of these stocks, and Dexcom's heavily owned by institutions. So if they want to move this thing down, they're gonna.
Right.
You know what I really like is the Intuitive surgical machine. You know, Hippie was up here today talking about his operation for his prostate, and he used that machine, and it's just amazing. You know, and look at that.
There's a divergence right there. Go back.
That's not
You see it?
ridiculous.
Look at right there.
Yeah, it's a little
There it
1
is.
minute, but
That's all right.
Yeah,
But see how quickly the eyes.
yeah. Oh, sure, yeah,
You
absolutely.
don't have lines drawn in, and I'm quickly drawn to that.
Yep.
And I point it out.
Right.
That's what I'm saying, Sean. That's a powerful thing.
Right, it was on there for a blip of a
Exactly.
second. You saw it.
That's what I'm talking about. People are like, Rob, I just don't see him. Cactus, Rob, I don't see what you're looking at. I'm like, come on, man, it's there.
This is my favorite right here, back here. This is the type I like. Now, if you measure, mirror this one over here. This is the perfect one. It's usually a flag. It comes in the flag. You already have that 1, 2, 3 channel. You come down to the 1, 2, 3, 4, and that fourth is that divergence, that turn up. It's such a great setup, but it's definitely a huge. It's not. Lots of times you see those divergences, and you'll count it as a divergence because it sets up as a divergence. But both of these pivots will be underneath the 20.
Right.
One might be at 7, one might be at 15, and you're saying, well, there's definitely an upward slope here and a downward slope here. But this is the one that works so good when you have such a nice spread between that higher high or the higher low.
Right.
And the lower low. It's just a perfect setup, and it doesn't. That's the golden ticket right there. You have to always be looking for it. I think when you see this setup on
See,
a daily,
that's good. See how steep those stochastics are?
Yeah.
I want it minimal
Right.
like that if I want to really get the move.
and it really hasn't given you any other setups, but that setup will always work, and I think that shows the biggest moves. But again, it doesn't do anything for us now. But
These are the ones I like too, John.
That's was that last year? We're just looking
that
at
was
the
2000 February. That was in February 2016.
Look at the one from last October.
Yep, same thing. Yeah,
See that, Sean? That's what I look for.
double bottom. It's
And look at how
like-
steep the stochastics are, John.
yeah,
That's what sticks out
Yeah.
to a computer, I think.
yeah.
So, and these are the ones I like too. Sean, I'm pointing to the end, right where the ISRG on the right, all the way to the right of the chart. See how the stochastics make that little.
The little hook.
Yeah, exactly. When you see those stochastics fast like that, with that little blip, some of those tend to be the best setups.
This right here, that
For
little.
some reason,
from that here,
yeah,
that-
exactly. I don't know why, but like on shorter time frames, when you get those, sometimes you get such powerful moves out of those.
I just was
Right.
looking for it.
So, so it's not under the 80 there, that second one, but it's nice.
It's a nice angle, so that's why. Yeah, so that's why these guys are like, I don't see the divergence really taking hold yet, and I'm like, well, I'm anticipating because I already see the slope of it that it's gonna go back down through the 80.
Yeah.
Right. It's just a small high or low on that stochastic high.
Right, and look at where I'd be entering. See how tight a stop I can have. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
Right there at the edge.
That's it. Like K-Rod says, you trade them from the edges. Go to the extremes. That's what stochastics are all about, right? Overbought, oversold. Where's
Yeah.
your best chance for making money on a long?
Yeah.
When it's oversold. When's your best chance of making money on a short? When it's overbought.
Yeah.
Are you going to get run over? Yes, sometimes you will, but
Sometimes, but the majority, I'm telling you, if you find a divergence like this, the majority of the time you're not going to get run. I think there's a 95, 97% chance these divergences play out. A strong divergence like that. I cautious people when you see them both under the 20, just because it's sometimes a sloppy divergence,
Right.
and it can be considered embedded. And you're not going to wait all year for one. You want to trade more, so you take those on the hourly. And you might see them on the hourly. We can go back on the hourly, and I guarantee if we actually saw kind of a divergence, here's kind of one, and this is a good rule. If you see a divergence, and this is, you had one here, but nothing really happened. It went sideways, and when it goes sideways in the divergence, that's telling you something. It's not working out, or
Right.
that strength is there. It's not working. It's holding up because of probably the divergence, but they're not. It's not moving. You got to get out. If it doesn't work out with that rotation. It's not gonna. It usually doesn't break down on you though. It definitely either holds ground, and majority of the time it moves high. But if it goes sideways, that's a signal in itself, I think. But it depends on what chart. ISRG might not be the best 60-minute time frame for this. It doesn't seem like it's a
no,
good
look
one.
at it like a Facebook, John, or an
Yeah.
Apple or something. I'm
Yeah.
sure you get those in the bigger stocks.
Yeah, I mean, and it's probably going to happen at the open and close. At the open sometime when the gap
Right.
downs and
Right at the end of your chart there. See
Yeah.
how it's almost a double
Yeah,
top in
almost.
price, and see how steep the stochastics are?
yeah.
Well, without this wick, John, look at where the body is and
Yeah.
draw it straight across. It's almost there. Look at the steepness of
Yeah.
the stochastics versus how close that is. I would take that trade.
You would take that. I mean, that I would scratch my head on, you know.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I wouldn't.
Pretty
good without the wick.
It depends, though.
I wouldn't take it because it just. Again, I have to stick to that discipline. I can't like.
I'll say, but I might look for other edges
Yeah,
that
yeah.
confirm it.
That's what I'm saying. That's just. Yeah, it depends on how you're approaching the market. You could have stage different. Yeah, that's nice.
That's a nice one right there.
Yeah, I remember this one. And there was one back here we actually traded.
Yeah, that's another. You can see it.
Oh, that one was real nice there.
Yeah. And look at this one. Oh my God.
Oh yeah, that's even better.
Oh my God. Look at that.
See how steep the stochastics are?
Yeah. So every time you see that same scenario playing out, you have to take advantage of that. You can't get too involved in looking at the. Yeah, but this is the daily. You have to commit.
Right.
You're going. You're committing here for a few days.
But then you think about it. If you're gonna commit
Yeah.
on a daily, where are you gonna take your entry? 950.
Yeah.
Probably, right?
Well, yeah. Or you,
How many times is 950 the low of the day or the
if
high?
I want
of
to
the
come in
day?
on the daily, I like the daily. I want to get on the 60-minute time frame.
Right.
On the oversold level. And at 60, then I have the 60 daily working for me. And I feel that 60 would probably be that little small rotation inside that. If it doesn't happen, we sometimes find it afterwards and we say, oh, the daily's starting to move.
I use them out.
Yeah. You know where it is, right?
No.
Make a left here.
Okay.
And down the hole, make another left. Then downstairs.
I think it's this way.
Yeah. And downstairs. Yeah. I had these, John, I had these divergences I save all the time, and I was going to bring them up before. I want to see. I love. Let me see if I can find them. Folders. Divergence charts. All right. I don't know. Lane divergence. 1 minute. That's an old one. Sell side. Try to find some of these. Better one. Yeah, you know what? It's for me, and for how many years I've been tracking these. There is a perfect setup for me. It's where you have the definitive, whatever I'm trying to say here, that definite divergence. That the part 1 is underneath the 20, part 2 is above 20. The part 1 on this side is a low, and part 2 is definitely a low. If we have the and these are and I think all these really work out great once you find that setup right back here and stuff. It just shows you, it's just something that always works. When you see that, it's just something that goes along with it. And it's how important it is to stick to that rule, like a business. I keep on saying I want to make this a business. You have a business plan, and your business plan is how do we make money? What product do we sell? Well, we don't product. We look for a product, we buy that product, we resell it, and this is the strategy we use, and that's how we're going to gain our, that's how we're going to make our revenue. But we can't go off that track. We can't just get bored through 12 o'clock and say, "Oh, look at this sell-off. Let me take a shot on this." Half the time, those trades I miss it because I don't look at the different time frames. I forget. I get just caught up in the trade and say, "Oh, there's a divergence," and then I'll look at it. And I'll see that 5 minute might be a buy diversion, but that 5 minutes going to come down, and it'll work a little. But you have to understand it's probably not going to give you as big as move. And all those little clues, those little tricks of the trade, having everything lined up for you. Maybe it happens. If you're lucky, it happens 2 times or more a day. If you're lucky, maybe you should get it happening 1 time. You should have a good trade opportunity. And what happens if it only gives you 1 point? You get $50 and stuff. That's people get frustrated with that and they push it. It's something you have to say. All right, $50 today could be. It might turn on tomorrow. It's like fishing. You might catch 1 fish today, and I don't know what analogy it works, but it does work. Over trading is in the wrong conditions is dangerous and.
That's been my.
And I think this is honestly, I feel like this is a little harder market right now. Honestly, I think the election is a news event, and when news events get involved, I think technical analysis goes out the window.
Well, I think it's waiting on that event that's so just a grind, waiting. There's no real decision in any of the moves.
I didn't even No, I didn't even look at the 60 today because we were out most of the day. But looking at how fast that 60 rotated back up, that's kind of very big. That's a big negative on my screen. You know, and Rob, I was just looking at this because we haven't really looked at the chart. This is how fast this 60-minute time frame rotated back up and almost got back into an overbought level. Yet the price here didn't barely move. You know, so we're almost getting overbought again on the 60, yet we didn't get a big move up here. You know, normally we're getting a nice move up on the 60, a nice rotation back, nice move up, but we had a nice move down, but a very small move up, and this it's not quite there. I'm not saying it's time yet, but
Right.
you know, that concerns me when I see the momentum, and if it's relative to the recent moves. If this moves up from
This
the,
is a nice divergence here.
yeah, that was a nice divergence. Look at that. He spots him like it's like a
I'm
tracker.
telling you, man, I can't look at a chart without looking at stochastics. People are like, oh, what do you think of this chart? And I'm like, I don't know. Let me pull up my chart. You know.
Two.
It's just, I don't know, man. Like I said, we found something that works.
Scooter.
Sorry, Sean, I had to use the facilities.
Yeah, I got the same.
Probably should call it a night anyway. It's coming close to the
I appreciate you guys chatting with me.
Hey, man.
I think I'm the only one here because of your
Oh,
jar.
Aussie's there.
Aussie.
20 minutes.
Now I got
there,
a text from Ann.
You know what? I don't trade the DAX, and that's something I've heard some market gurus say you got to trade the DAX, but
Ann's only trading futures. He's would like to get him to trade stocks. Yeah, I hear you, Ann. But yeah, Sean, I appreciate the call. It's good to talk to you.
yeah, man.
Thanks for having me, man. It's been a blast.
Yeah, and I'm glad we all talked. It got good information out. That's important, I think. Having these traders talk.
Well, it's also hard during the day. Like I
Paydays
feel
is-
bad. Paul was at,
Popeye's there, Payday's there, Fro's there, Aussie's there. You got some people there, Sean. Sean's there.
how about NZ?
And Zed, he might be there. But yeah, it's getting late. I think we're all sobered up pretty good.
I think
Yeah,
so.
guys. Thank you. Have a good night, man.
You caught us when we were a little tipsy there.
Yeah, Sean, take care, man.
I joined you in that tip.
Oh, good.
Thanks so much. See
All
ya.
right, brother.
Bye.
Talk to you soon.
All right, that was nice.